Welcome back to Etheria Restart. Today we're here to give an animus spotlight on Kazuyo the Reverie, an animus that you're going to be utilizing every single day, and we're going to show you exactly where. Today I'm here with my boy Hermes, and we're here to talk about this animus, break it down for you. Before we go any further, I wanted to thank Etheria Restart for sponsoring today's video, and urge all of you, if you haven't played the game, and if you're wondering if it's any good, we can tell you that it is. Use this QR code or my link in the description to download the game. Get yourself 10 free summons if you're a new player. Hermes, I know you're excited about talking about Kazuyo, I should say. Notice that she's being used in our Doki Doki team on a regular basis. Let's talk about her.
Yeah, so she's actually a really cool one, and I actually really love it because she was one whenever, even all the way back in the beta, I remember we both talking about her as well. She's just been an SR. Again, there's not like a giant roster of animus, but she is definitely an SR that I think has really been very valuable throughout the game. And what's really cool is that because of the way that the meta has been changing, there's been a lot more control needs in the arena, and so she kind of has a place in that for earlier games. So earlier game arena, she can be really valuable, and then obviously she can be used all the way to the end game at Inferno stages of Doki Doki. Whenever you really need a control champion, she really fits that bill well.
Yeah, and I think that's important to be able to know when you have an animus that can be used from early game all the way to end game, one that's not going to kind of get worn out and stale and put in the back pocket and not used anymore. So let's take a look at her kit a little bit and talk about why she's so great. Where would you like to start?
Well, I think, again, like this is another one that, you kind of go S1 all the way up to that S3 because of, you want to kind of build up that little bit of excitement overall.
Let's do it. Let's take a look at that S1 to start.
Yeah. So the big thing with this S1 that's really interesting, and you can see, I see you're starting to get some investments on it, but the biggest thing is that it obviously has a 2 hits, right? So you think when you look at an ability like this, that there's a chance for it to put out that slumber, but it's 2 hits, so it gives you even an extra additional chance to put out slumber. And then whenever you get that skill fully maxed, you are going to be able to have an increase in duration up to 2 turns, which can be really valuable on single targets when you're really trying to keep them under control. The big problem with Slumber, and this is where I think a lot of people are going to start to realize, is that with Slumber, if that animus, if you hit an animus that is under Slumber, they will wake up. So when they're under freeze or stun or anything else like that, if they get hit, they're not going to, the crowd control effect is going to stay on that animus. But with Slumber, if they get hit, then they're going to, that crowd control effect is going to be removed. That's just one thing to keep in mind with her, is that you've got to make sure you're either not targeting that animus if you're in an arena battle, or if you're in PvE using her for Doki Doki, you just want to have a lot of effect accuracy to try to make sure you're putting out as many as you can to keep that damage mitigation debuff off the enemies.
Yeah, no, that makes sense, and it's good that you brought it up because I know people in the comments are going to say something about that, so it's something that we are aware of and that you need to be aware of as well when you're using her in the battles. Her S2, her passive.
Yeah, this passive actually, again, so like it makes it, her in of herself, she makes her very valuable to use on those fleet targets because it has it's a 70 going up to 100% chance to decrease turn meter on enemies that are under slumber, but it doesn't remove that slumber effect. So that's what's really cool about her kit, is obviously she's surrounded, like her kit is not surrounded, but her kit is all about slumber, but she also doesn't remove the slumber when she attacks those enemies. So that makes it really, really cool to have that opportunity to decrease turn meter, not wake enemies up, because then if you're really looking like you're really worried about a single damage dealer, it's again, looking at arena battles, you're really worried about a single damage dealer, you just keep them under slumber and only have her attack while the rest of the team goes down via your damage dealers, and all of a sudden it's just that damage dealer and then you're just wiping them out. And so I think that's really cool to use early game. And again, it has its uses in Doki Doki, just keeping those waves under control, getting as little attacks on your team as possible.
No, thanks for the breakdown yet again. All right, that takes us to the final skill, which is that S3. The buildup is here, man. Why do you love this one so much?
So that S3 is really, really good. So you think Doki Doki, right? The 2 big problems with it is, 1, the damage mitigating passive that all of the enemy units have because of the way the Doki Doki works. And the other thing is they have really high attack that does a lot of damage. So what does this thing do? 3 hits to all enemies with a pretty, I would say, a really high chance at 65% to inflict decreased attack for 2 turns. And if they already have that decreased attack, also has a 45% chance to put out a slumber. So what really is valuable with this skill is that it's 3 hits. So you could get the attack down on the first hit with a 65% chance plus all your effect accuracy. That really makes it very valuable. And then on top of that, you're getting that slumber. But what really makes this a super, super valuable ability is the fact that it is on a 3-turn cooldown. To my knowledge, she is the only Animus in the game without using any shells or set bonuses or anything else like that has a 3-turn cooldown control, especially an SR unit, which means that you're going to have a lot more of those lattice available to use on someone like her and really invest in her and make her very valuable to use to you as you're going through the game and progressing through, because of how often she's going to be able to throw out that slumber, throw out that decreased attack.
Yeah, and we love to be able to save lattice when we can, but yep, good point on the 3-turn cooldown. Thank you for pointing it out. Let's take a look at her modules really quickly and see what kind of gear she's wearing and what she should be focusing on. Like many Animus, it's all about that speed, right?
Oh yeah, 100%. The biggest thing is really just going for speed. So I see you've actually got a build. So what I'm thinking is that your build looks pretty good. Obviously, a lot of speed. That time weave, you've only got a 6-piece set. You'd really love to get that up to a 12-piece, but I'm assuming in between the shell and then just not getting good speed rolls on your pieces, that you really just haven't been able to get to it. Which is why, call back real quick to another video of ours, that module forge is really, really good, because you're able to then select certain pieces. Because the big thing for her is you want effect accuracy out the wazoo. You want just a ton of effect accuracy on those right side main stat pieces, just to make sure that she's got a lot of effect accuracy and then lots of speed substats, lots of rolls into them, make her nice and fast, and lots of accuracy.
You got it, man. And we got her in a shell as well. We're in the Alicorn.
So Alicorn, I think, is honestly not a great shell to have on her. Obviously, you've got a good Shadow Dash roll on that speed passive. You've got the proper substats that you want on your shell. But Alicorn, honestly, isn't really a good one. I think where you are in the game and where people are really going to be starting to want to focus is really putting her into I think it's Dark Moon, I think it's Dark Moon. And the Dark Moon is really, really going to be valuable because it has the ability to put out a increased accuracy by 50% on the current turn, and it extends all the non-control debuffs that Animus puts out on that turn by 1 additional turn. And for her, that's going to be really valuable because she doesn't just have the slumber, she has the decreased attack. So that is really going to be a shell that's going to be really, really valuable to put on an Animus like this to make sure that they're getting the maximum effect.
All right. Thank you for breaking that down. I appreciate you letting me know that I could have a better shell on here as well. That's cool. People are going to be in a similar boat. Let's take her into a battle right here and see how it goes. I'm going to throw it on auto. We're on Doki Doki Inferno right now. Let's just see how it goes. You can let us know any highlights that you see happening right here.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously you've got a really solid team. You know, really, like one of the better teams I'd say in the game. The big thing I'm going to see, is really you get in, decreased attack, decreased defense, and then you just have Romoka coming in nuke. Ooh. Looks like your Romoka isn't quite strong enough to get this whole first wave down. I think that's something, obviously, you want to focus on, is really getting some increased value out of that. But when you look at Kazuyo in of herself, he's really getting the job done by putting out lots of those sleep debuffs, which is really what you need as she gets back around to all of her turns. It's really just focused on getting as many sleeps out as possible with as much effect accuracy. And I really think if you get that Dark Moon on her, get Romoka a little bit more damage, I think that you'd really be in a good spot for your builds on this Doki Doki team to really start speed farming, like a very high level speed farm, I mean.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, are you concerned that we're not going to get this down, even though we didn't get that Romoka kill right off the top?
No, I don't think so. I think, again, so this is actually the one spot where that Alicorn really comes into play. You saw just there, it cleansed off the stun that was put out by one of those enemies. So I don't think this is really a concern as far as winning goes. I think it's more just getting this run faster is really going to be the biggest thing you're looking for, because I'm pretty sure Kazuyo's about to come in with her full team slumber right here, and that's really going to make it a lot easier for your Animus as you go through. And so that would be something really good to come through, is obviously you want to get that control effect out as your team goes around. I don't think, again, Doki Doki is really difficult because they're so tanky, but with her abilities, everything that she's got, I think it can become a much easier battle whenever you've got the kind of Animus in place the way that you do. And it just kind of makes it easy. Now you got like the real big threat down. I don't think this is really a worry or a concern of getting it down. It just adds a little bit of extra time.
Yeah, and I mean, you get this going in background battles. Obviously, you want as quick a time as you can get, just so you save yourself and you can grind even harder. But at the same time, as long as we have a 100% team, we're feeling good about it. Let's come back at the end of this battle so we can see it all completed and finishing up. All right, so we're just about there. Here's that last ability right there of sleep. Let's see how we finish this thing up. I just saved us a few seconds.
I know, right? That's the thing with these battles, is that sometimes they go much longer than you think they will, and sometimes they're a lot shorter than you think they will, and it's like, oh, you never really know.
There we go. There we go. Got it done. I appreciate the feature here, man. Thanks for breaking this down. Let's get ourselves out of here really quickly. Let's get back on the screen where we want to be. Thanks again for coming through, Hermes. Appreciate you giving your guidance and wisdom to me and to everyone that's watching. Really fun to use Animus right here. Squashing Doki Doki. Appreciate you, man. I also need to thank Etheria Restart for sponsoring the video. And if you guys haven't played the game and you're interested, QR code, link in the description, gives you the hookup with 10 free summons. We'll see you guys back here in tomorrow's video.